Oh, having a little bit of an audio hiccup here. Let's try that again. Let's do this again here. There we go.
There are many people asking questions. There are many people asking why. There are many people paying attention. There are many now who see the big lie.
A little bit of an audio mix-up here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It's the 1st of May, May Day, Thursday, 2025. And as always, I got a little message for the legacy media, mainstream media. You're going down. Why? Because
You won't be trusted anymore.
yeah, I tell you, I've been waiting for 30 years to see the mainstream media have to eat their own crow. And yeah, it's happening, folks. Anyway, welcome to the program. These are the WTF reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist. And as always, our broadcast is brought to you in part by our sponsors, one of which is Blackout Coffee. Now, I don't know about you, but I've got to have my coffee in the morning. It's one of those staples that a lot of us just can't seem to do without. And as long as you're going to drink coffee, you might as well drink good coffee. And that's coffee that's produced by like-minded individuals, patriots, supporters of first responders, supporters of the military, supporters of our law enforcement. And if you like light roast, medium roast, dark roast, if you like coffee pods, if you like iced coffee, there's all kinds of goodies that you can get, coffee products, if you go to our website, thewtfreports.com, visit our sponsors page, and get some Blackout Coffee. All right, that said, welcome to the broadcast. I tell you, things are breaking out all over the place, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the news as far as exposures and arrests of people who are involved in human trafficking. And I want to start off the broadcast by just going down my own personal life, because that's my point of reference. And I preface this by saying, look, I'm not stupid, I'm not crazy, and I don't lie. And I look back at my own life. And I have to think of my mom. And, because Mother's Day is coming up soon. And I do think of my mom, occasionally, more frequently these days. But my mom was an absolute beautiful woman. She was a knockout. When she was in her teens, she was modeling. She was in Buffalo, New York. And she was in newspapers and magazines. And she was also an aspiring singer, which is where I got my musical roots from. But my mom, like I said, she was unfortunately subjected to the same type of ogling and the type of stuff that beautiful women have to deal with. And I've known many beautiful women in my life. One of which, my gosh, she was an stunning woman. She, in her younger years, she was a swimsuit model. And she was a body sculptor. And she won, I think it was 46, 47 swimsuit competitions. And like I said, I've known some beautiful women in my life. And unfortunately, most of them, I'm not going to say all, most of them have had to face some sort of sexual abuse, emotional abuse, etc., etc. And this is something that this has been going on for a long time. And as time has gone on, with the thanks of of Hollywood and the media, sexual abuse has almost become accepted and expected in some circles. And this is why I see the number one issue that's facing humanity now, not just our country, but all of humanity, is the sexual exploitation and the human sex trafficking, the child trafficking. And I firmly believe that if we can stop this, if we can get rid of these monsters who have preyed upon children and upon women, and I do want to remind you that, that rape is probably the worst crime of theft that you can, do to another human being. Because once that happens, their ability to trust and to love is gone. I mean, what else can you steal from somebody than love? This is horrendous. It has to stop. Now, I pray to God every day that somehow, some way, these people who have been involved in this type of activity will be exposed. Now, it's one thing to say, yes, we got to go after the human sex traffickers, and it's rampant. It's disgusting. But if you want to get to the bottom of it, you have to get rid of the demand, which means we have to have the Epstein lists released. We have to have the P. Diddy lists released. This has to happen. Now, I realize that when you release these names, we're talking about the most famous people on the planet. No exaggeration here. We're talking about people in politics, elected officials, appointed officials. We're talking about individuals that are leaders of other countries. We're talking about, we're talking about Hollywood. We're talking about the TV. We're talking about all of it. We have to get rid of the demand. And the only way you do that is to expose the people who have been participating in this. Yes, you want to go after the perpetrators. Yes, you want to go after the human traffickers. But we've got to get rid of the consumers as well. Get them exposed. There need to be perp walks. There need to be handcuffs, orange jumpsuits, and leg irons for these people. It has to stop. And also, like I've said so many times before on this broadcast, let the punishment fit the crime. I think we all know what the Bible says as far as, hurting those little ones, that you'd be better off with a millstone tied around your neck and you'd be cast into the sea. And again, there are some people out there that say, as far as pedophiles are concerned, well, the solution is a wood chipper. Well, that's a little drastic, but I get the idea. When is capital punishment appropriate? We're just too lenient on crime. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be an extremist about this or anything like this, but I've seen it too many times in my lifetime. And I'm sure you listeners out there, you probably know someone, you probably know a friend or a family member or a co-worker, somebody out there that has been the victim of sexual abuse. And it has to stop. It has to. And I'm going to start off with the first clip. President Trump was having a cabinet meeting a couple days ago, and Robert Kennedy Jr. had this to say in regard to the Department of Health and Human Services. This is industrialized, folks. It's got to stop. Listen to RFK Jr. Here he is.
We have ended HHS as the role as the vector, the principal vector in this country for child trafficking. And during the Biden administration, HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking and for sex and for slavery. And we have ended that, and we're very aggressively going out and trying to find these children, the 300,000 children that were lost by the Biden administration.
Yeah, that was 300,000, if you missed that. And if you add into that the Department of Child Health, CPS, Child Protective Services, that are supposed to protect these children, I've heard numbers as high as 800,000 children that just go missing from these departments that are supposed to look out for these kids. This is a huge, monstrous problem, and it's all over the country and indeed all over the world. Now, let me see. There's a Colorado Republican. His name is Scott Bottoms, and he's basically coming out in Colorado and explaining what's going on in the Mile High State or the Mile High City, whatever. But anyway, here is Colorado Republican Representative Scott Bottoms on the same subject.
These are the times that I am discouraged about my job as a representative and also just what happens here at the Capitol. We sat in a committee all day discussing whether or not somebody that buys little children, these are 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old kids, they buy them for sex, that we tried to get a bill through, Representative Bradley sent one through, that was going to put these buyers in jail. Right now, most of the time, they get off on probation. Almost all the time, they get off on probation after buying a child and raping a little child. And we tried to say, well, they need to at least serve a minimum of 4 years. And then we sat and listened to the Democrats fight against this bill, fight against putting these people in jail, and came up with all kinds of reasons, including that these buyers are victims themselves. This is very discouraging, and it's also very disgusting for me that they would actually defend this. And then they voted completely along party lines. The Democrats voted 100% that they did not want to put these pedophiles in jail. They defended the pedophiles. This is why it's so difficult sometimes to do what we do around here. We know we're on the side of right, we know we're on the side of morality, and we get shot down by, I do not understand the thought process behind this, but we do get shot down. This is why I would encourage you to do a few things to help us with this. First, if you believe in prayer at all, please pray. We are fighting truly dark forces here. This is not okay. This is evil stuff that we're dealing with. And if you have the ability to come up and testify on bills or anything like this, please do so. Your voice is very important to what we're trying to accomplish around here. We are the minority, but with you, we become a powerful force.
We shouldn't be the minority. I mean, playing politics with child sex trafficking is insane. But then again, you know, I was talking to somebody yesterday about the Democrats and I've mentioned on this broadcast that years ago, yes, I was a proud Democrat. I was against war. It was the Republicans who were the war hawks. It was the Republicans who were the bad guys. And I was happy to be, you know, standing up against that. But what happened is that I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me. And there are a lot of people out there who feel exactly the same. What has happened to these people? What has happened to them? Why is it that they are so hell-bent about protecting the child sex predators? I mean, I remind you, remember when Trump had his joint address to Congress a couple months ago? And they were talking about the Laken Riley Act. Unfortunately, Laken Riley was murdered by an illegal alien, brutally. She was raped and murdered. And when they passed this Laken Riley Act, and then when Trump had his joint address to Congress, he had the family of Laken Riley there and acknowledged them. And the Democrats wouldn't stand or applaud. What's wrong with these people? What is wrong with you? I mean, you're so wrapped up in orange man bad that no matter what Trump does, or no matter what the Republicans do, or no matter what the conservatives think, you'll stand against it just because orange man bad. You've been brainwashed. You know, not one Democrat voted for that Laken Riley Act. As a matter of fact, I played a clip, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, that they're trying to do an investigation into the source of autism. Now, this situation with autism, is this a Republican thing or a Democrat thing? Is this a liberal or a conservative thing? No! We're talking about a condition that affects everybody. And yet the Democrats are voting against any investigation into the cause of autism. Now, why is that? What is wrong with these people? Anyway, getting back to this issue about child sex trafficking, let's see here. It says here there was an international child trafficking ring that was busted in Florida. Over 1 million videos of child pornography, most of them containing babies, were being sold around the world. This is sick. This is absolutely sick. Here's a portion of the news conference when they announced that they had busted these people.
Mark Glass, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, Special Agent in Charge from the Tampa office, Mark Brutinel, and Special Counsel from our Office of Statewide Prosecution, Rita Peters. It's good to be back. I wish it was to talk about something more uplifting, but we do have a big announcement this morning that we are busting an international child pornography ring. We will be bringing charges against 8 individuals this morning, 7 of whom are Florida residents. As a dad of 3 little ones, it's tough to talk about some of this stuff, but what these guys were doing was truly heinous. There's not a word in the English dictionary that can describe the gross content that was on the videos. Our investigators have been able to get their hands on over 1 million videos showing sexual abuse on minors, many of these individuals were babies that are being sold around the world.
This is disgusting. I mean, we shouldn't even have to have this conversation. And yet the United States is the biggest consumer of pornography on the planet. What has happened to our society? What has happened to our moral compass, if we even have one? And yes, I agree 100% that we need to be praying. We need to call upon the forces of the universe, our Creator, to give us strength and to give us guidance and to give the enforcers the morality to go after not just the perpetrators, but the consumers. I'm sure if they've got millions of videos, they know how to find out who's purchasing and who's frequenting the websites that publish this stuff. And once you start, employing capital punishment to these individuals, I don't think it's going to stop. You just heard, for whatever reason, a lot of these people who rape are let off on probation. They get a slap on the wrist or they get a very light sentence. No. Like I said on the outset of this broadcast, if you rape somebody, you have destroyed their ability to trust or love. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like an extremist on this thing, but this has been near and dear to my heart for many, many, many years. And I want to take a little time travel here back 30 years ago, back in 95, when I was a talk show host at WTF AM 1320 in Waterbury, Connecticut. While everybody else was focused on the OJ updates, I was focused in on the Oklahoma City bombing, and that's how I got to know Ted Gunderson. And Ted and I, we shared a podium many, many, many times at different speaking engagements around the country. And inevitably, at the end of the presentations or the convention or something like that, we'd end up back at the hotel room, and we would share horror stories about what we had learned when it came to this issue about sex trafficking. And, yes, satanic worship. Now, I remind you, listeners, it's not what I believe. It's not about what I believe. It's not about what you believe. It's about what they believe. And there are satanic cults all over the country that engage in this type of activity. And it's got to stop. I mean, we need a full-blown frontal attack on these individuals. And we're not going to stop it unless we get that. Now, I could play some more of this press conference in Florida, but it's about 16 minutes long. I'm not going to subject you to the whole press conference, but you get the general idea. And it's going on, again, it's happening all over the country. Now, here's a report that came out of, let's see, what was this? Oh, yeah, this is Channel 2 in Houston, Texas. Here's another report. Listen to this.
Statue in the apartment, and the gang members said they wanted to offer the beast a soul. Police say Hernandez Rivera and Alvarez Flores killed the girl execution style. Killers confessed to the crime after they were arrested. 22-year-old Miguel Alvarez Flores, there you see on the left, and 18-year-old Diego Hernandez Rivera on the right appeared in court this week. Now, according to HPD, most MS-13 gang members are in this country illegally, and these two murder suspects could be as well. Police say they have reported the two to Homeland Security. Now, an investigator told us this morning that officers found evidence in the apartment where these gang members were keeping underage girls that led police to believe there was some sort of satanic ritual activity happening there. HPD says there were 3 underage girls in the apartment of the murder suspects, a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old who was murdered, and then a 16-year-old girl. Police say the 14-year-old told detectives she was kidnapped, drugged, and sexually assaulted by members of the MS-13 gang. Now, the 14-year-old also reportedly told investigators she was moved from one apartment to another, forced into consuming drugs and alcohol, then at one point was held down as Alvarez Flores tattooed the image of the Grim Reaper on her body from her knee down to her foot. This girl also told police the 15-year-old at the apartment was a girl named Genesis. She believes Genesis is the girl found dead on February 16th.
Mm-hmm. And again, I remind you, it doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what you believe. What matters is what they believe. And they believe in Satan. They believe in sacrifices. Now, you can stick your head in the ground and ignore it, but remember, when you bury your head in the sand, your butt's exposed. But this is a scourge of humanity, and I don't mean to just be focusing in on this one topic or anything, but this is that important. And for the love of God, I do not understand why the Democrats, why the liberals, why the progressives out there are just so defensive, and they stand up for these pedophiles. They stand up for these illegal immigrants. And I don't know why they can't get it through their head. They keep screaming, "Oh, you can't deport these illegal immigrants. They deserve due process. Due process." Well, guess what? They didn't go through the due process to get in here, so what makes you think they deserve due process to get out of here? I mean, this is such common sense, but unfortunately, common sense has just gone out the window. It has gone right out the window. And anyway, I'm looking at some of the headlines here. I played for you that audio clip here of Robert Kennedy Jr., and there are just headline after headline after headline. Let me see. RFK claims that Biden's HHS became a collaborator in child trafficking. Yes, that's true. And another headline, feds admit child sex trafficking reports tripled under the Harris and Biden administration. Another headline from the New York Post, kids as young as 8 are drugged and trafficked into the U.S. by smugglers posing as their parents, so say the Border Patrol agents. And there's another headline. Let's see, this says CIA files say staffers committed sex, let's try it again. The CIA says staffers committed sex crimes involving children, and they weren't prosecuted. Why aren't these people prosecuted? Why are they holding on to them? And there's a young girl who was explaining what happened to her when she was being trafficked. And I'm going to play a little bit of her interview. Here it is.
As a young child, I was being raped by my father, but it got a lot worse as I got older. My father is a Freemason. As me, as a kid, I was about 11, 12 years old. At the time when these images were taken, I was going to school every day. I had, on the surface, a normal life. But I was taken to a lot of rituals in the Grand Lodge, or sometimes more locally in the local area where I live.
What was the main way in which the Freemasons abused children, and you specifically?
The main way was rape, but the worst ways were using your hand to kill another being. I saw a little boy being murdered by the Freemasonic group. And in this particular ritual, which is in the Grand Lodge, there were many little boys. I saw how there was rape in different rooms of the Freemasonic building, where the little boys and me were taken into rooms and raped by these men. And this boy, he was lying on the altar, and then they made each little boy in turn come up and stab him with the knife in the heart to kill him.
Why do you think they did that?
To have power over you so that you won't speak out. I hope this video can help people identify children that are being abused in order to help those children find support and help. It's especially important to see the ways in which children play. By playing, they often show what's happening to them, actually. Children who've faced extreme violence, they are masters at hiding what's been done to them because their life depends on it.
It's like the head off, but still hanging on.
Okay.
Yes, and then there's a big white bowl on the floor, and the blood drips in, and then we pour it in a big silver goblet.
Because you have adrenalized blood.
It's all about the children. I'm working on a 4-part series on child trafficking. And when you start to go into this very dark world of trafficking, you learn about a lot of things that many people don't want to accept, and many people don't want to face, and many people don't want to believe is true. But my job as a journalist is to follow.
By the way, it cuts off. Sorry about that, but that's Laura Logan, and she and many others have been discussing this horrendous topic for quite some time and trying to expose this to the American people and indeed to the world. And the bottom line here is, again, I'll say it for a third time. It doesn't matter what you believe or what I believe. It's what they believe. And if they are satanic, that's what they do. And they truly believe that by sacrificing these children, basically they're going up against God, because the children are innocent. The children have yet to be polluted. They've yet to be, shall we say, indoctrinated into the system. These young children, they're absolute pure innocence. And this is why they go after the children. Anyway, I know this is a tough topic, and I'm sorry, but it has to be addressed. It should be on the front burner. This is something that, is going to destroy all of humanity unless we have a full frontal assault against it. I can't stress that enough. Anyway, I'd like to know your feelings on the subject. So give me a call. The phone number here is 215-867-8255. Again, that's 215-867-8255. If you're writing it down, that's why I went slowly for you. Okay? And in the meantime, it's time for a commercial break. Okay, let's pump this one up here.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get more tank by visiting our website, thewtfreports.com. Don't forget the word the, T-H-E, thewtfreports.com. Visit our sponsors page, and you can get more tank, and you'll be happy that you did. You won't be sorry. It's good stuff. I've been using it now in my car for almost a year. And it runs great. I get better mileage, and it'll happen to you too. Whether it's whether you're driving a car or a truck, or it's gas or it's diesel. If you want to use it in your riding mower, or if you want to use it in your chainsaw, whatever you do, this stuff is going to help your fuel become more efficient. Your car will run cleaner, and you'll get better mileage. So that doesn't suck too much. Okay, so go to our website, thewtfreports.com. and get more tank. Okay, so again, the phone number here, if you want to join the conversation, belly up to the telephone bar. It's 215-867-8255. That's 215-867-8255. And with that, I don't mean to be, beating a dead horse here or being a one-trick pony, but today I just felt we needed to focus on the sex trafficking issue, because I firmly believe if we can break this open, if we can break the back, and I mean, it's a huge job. It is a huge job, because everywhere you look, sexuality has become, a front burner issue. If we can break the back of the sex trafficking, go after the consumers. Go after the consumers of it. Release the list. I believe that everything else, all the other corruption, will fall into place. But sooner or later, it's going to catch up. Karma is a bitch, folks. And with that, I want to share with you a song I wrote about, this was on the first album, released in 96. You get what you give, folks. Karma, it's very real. Enjoy.
When it's all over, when it's all done, at what cost the battle, what prize has been won, when dark clouds surrender, when the storm is undone, Will you stand there shining in the light of the sun?
And sun is spelled S-O-N. Just so you know.
Are your motives worthy? Are your motives true? Are you doing things you would have done to you? Are you really proud of the things that you do? Will you stand there beaming when your life's finally through? When the dawn is just breaking at the end of the night, will you still have freedom? Will you still have rights? Were you proudly hailing through the perilous fight? Did you hide in darkness or try to shed light? When the curtain is closing and your life passes by, will you pleasantly smile or will you break down and cry? Will you honestly say you gave life your best try? If there's a reason for living, did you ever ask why? When the dawn is just breaking at the end of the night, will you still have freedom? Will you still have rights? Were you proudly hailing through the perilous fight? Did you hide in darkness or try to shed light? As you passed through life, did you seek to grow? Did you hold on tightly or did you let it all go? Did you look for truth or did you not want to know? In the final assessment, you will reap what you sow. In the final assessment, you will reap what you sow. In the final assessment, you will reap what you sow.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say it, but in the final assessment, you will reap what ye sow, as the book says. So, karma is real, folks. It really is. You know, you can hide in the darkness or stand in the light. It's your choice. But there are consequences. You know, you have to live with the consequences of your decisions. I've heard that many, many times through the years. Anyway, it's coming up on, let's see, it's about 21 minutes before the top of the hour. And again, if you want to join the broadcast, you want to belly up to the telephone bar, the phone line is open, 215-867-8255. All right, that said, going around, let me see, I'm just looking at all of the different posts here because I do get my, a lot of my news, not just from my news feeds, but I also look at the social media posts. And I'll tell you, thank God we've got social media, and they are totally disrupting the mainstream media, the legacy media. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I think that, CNN in prime time didn't even hit 500,000 viewers. I mean, my gosh, the legacy media is going down. People are going elsewhere to get their news. They're going to either YouTube or BitChute or Rumble or, whatever social media platforms there are, because the stuff is being posted. The truth is being told. As a matter of fact, look what happens. Oh, I almost forgot. I got to share a WTF last year. Last year, one of our senators, what a brilliant idea Dick Durbin had. And by the way, he's stepping down. He's not going to run for re-election. Thank goodness for that. But he had a brilliant solution for all these military-age males coming in illegal aliens from all over the world. Yeah, many of them from China. You don't get out of China unless they let you out. But anyway, he had a brilliant idea because obviously all these illegal immigrants, they want to come to the U.S. to find a better life. We want to help them. Yes, we do. So what are you going to do about it, Dick Durbin? You know what he suggested? I should pull that up. I'd have to go and find it, but I had the audio clip of him basically saying, I got a great idea. Why don't we, if they want to obtain citizenship, why don't we let these illegal aliens, again, I remind you, military-age males from other countries that hate the United States, his solution was to let them serve in law enforcement or the military. Oh, I get it, Dickie Durbin. You want to take these hostile, illegal male aliens and give them automatic weapons. What a brilliant idea. I don't know what's wrong with these Democrats. I don't know what's wrong with these progressive liberals. They're just not. It's crazy. It's just crazy. Anyway, here's another episode, shall we say. They hired an illegal alien to be a police officer. And that's what reminded me of Dick Durbin's brilliant suggestion last year. Here's the result of hiring an illegal alien to be a police officer. Here you go.
Last week, Redwood City Police arrested Gomes at the Belmont Police Headquarters on Penal Code 261A1. Rape of someone who was incapable of giving legal consent due to a mental disorder. Before he hired Gomes, the I-Team has learned that Chief Stenquist received phone calls from the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office and East Palo Alto Police warning him that both agencies had rejected Gomes because of his domestic violence arrest in 2017.
When a department head calls you and says something's wrong, take a closer look, or don't hire someone, you should take a closer look.
Court records show that Gomes and his wife were on vacation from their home in Brazil at this Ramada Inn in Kissimmee, Florida. The charging affidavit says they'd been married a year when Gomes spotted texts on his wife's cell phone from an ex-boyfriend and that he struck her repeatedly in the face and stomach. An officer wrote that he observed a large bruise that covered most of his wife's left cheek and scratches to her right cheek. The records say Gomes accused her of hitting and scratching him first, so the state attorney charged both of them with battery domestic violence before dropping the charges a month later. Belmont Chief Stenquist defended hiring Gomes, emailing me, past law enforcement contact that does not result in charges are not disqualifying in of itself under policies or applicable law.
In these special victim domestic violence cases, the charges are dropped. They're dropped because the victims have a change of heart. Any number of reasons.
Former San Francisco police commander and head of recruitment Rich Correa tells me the incident should be disqualifying, even though the case was dropped.
You don't want someone who, in a family setting, violence is a place they can escalate to. You want just the opposite. You want natural de-escalators.
Law enforcement sources also tell me Felipe Gomes is not a U.S. citizen. SB 960, sponsored by former State Senator Nancy Skinner, allows immigrants to be officers if they have a green card, visa, or permanent residency.
Insane.
Gomes is here on a work permit.
You must be a person who's legally authorized to work, so you have that legal paperwork. And then, in California, if this bill passes, you would be able to be a sworn officer.
Governor Gavin Newsom signed the bill in September 2022. Rich Correa tells me a newly arrived immigrant has lots to learn about our system of justice and civil rights.
You better make sure that you are hiring people that get the many nuances of the role of a police officer. There's no one else, as far as I know, in our entire society that carries a gun and has the authority to shoot you under certain circumstances.
Unbelievable.
Last week,
flippin' believable. And I just don't understand why the progressive left is so, what's the word, infatuated with these illegal immigrants. Excuse me. And it just, you literally, you can't make this stuff up. Let's see, who was this? This was posted by Katrina Sonora Gatita. And anyway, here's an assessment of what happened during the Biden-Harris administration.
So Hillary Clinton deleted 30,000 emails. Hunter Biden is a crack addict with hookers Joe Biden sold access to the U.S. government to Chinese communists. Pelosi is rich from insider trading. Stephen D'Antuono of the FBI staged the Gretchen Whitmer Fednapping and January 6th. Mayorkas allowed the invasion of our border. Epstein's clients walk free. Dr. Fauci lied about funding gain-of-function experiments that created the COVID-19 virus. Pfizer and Moderna lied about the safety of their mRNA COVID jab. Andrew Cuomo killed 11,000 elderly people in New York. Planned Parenthood sold aborted baby body parts. Shall I go on? These people are all walking free. And yet, Trump is the one who's convicted?
Help make it make sense. I just don't get it. How the progressive left can be, so out of touch with reality. Okay, Ryan Matta, by the way, he has been out there trying to expose all the sex trafficking around the world, and he had the following post to share. Here it is.
America, what if I told you that the Biden administration was going to turn America into the child trafficking capital of the world? Would you believe me? Would you call me a conspiracy theorist?
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And
I'm going to pause it. That's Robert David Steele, you just heard, former CIA intelligence officer, and I'll play the full clip after you hear this.
When they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load.
The taking of these children to the United States where the demand looks like it's enormous.
The Biden administration has reportedly been unable to make contact with 85,000 of these children. Think about that for a moment.
So we are the demand. If 85,000 children show up at our border and are released into that economy of pedophilia, what do you think's going on?
4 CPD officers accused of having sex with migrants.
These allegations are that, again, they engaged in sexual relationships with migrants, some were told, who may have been minors.
Even more disturbing, sources tell CBS 2 that a teenage migrant is now pregnant as a result of one of these alleged encounters.
Is it a conspiracy theory? Is child sex trafficking a conspiracy theory?
It is most certainly not a conspiracy theory. It occurs far too much.
This child trafficking thing is real. It has always existed.
Yes, thisistreason.com is the website. Check it out. Thisistreason.com. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And all of those who are defending this type of activity, they've got to be stopped too. I mean, this is an issue that's been near and dear to my heart. And I have to tell you, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, I befriended Ted Gunderson years ago, back in 1995. That's when I met him over the issue of the Oklahoma City bombing. But through the years, he and I became friends. We shared the podium at many different speaking engagements. And the stuff that he shared with me as far as the satanic cults that were popping up all over the country, and we're talking 30 years ago now, folks. It has become a multi-$100 billion industry to sell children. And this has got to stop. It's got to stop. And it's not going to stop as long as America and the rest of the world sticks their head in the ground and ignores it. It can't continue. It must not. It's got to be stopped. It really does. Anyway, and I realize this is a difficult subject. No, and that's why I'm spending the bulk of this broadcast trying to bring it to your attention. And it's not fun to talk about. It's not fun to think about. But it's right in your face. It's everywhere. We've all seen the posts that people put out there referring to all of the Disney movies that have all the subliminal stuff, relating to sex, relating to adrenochrome, relating to, the pedophile symbols all over the place. It's on products. I know that there are diapers out there that have the pedophile symbols on them. I mean, this stuff is everywhere. Symbolism will be their downfall. It really will. But, and again, it's not about what I believe. It's not what you believe. It's what they believe. And unfortunately, they, quote unquote, they are the most powerful people on the planet. And this is why they have to be made an example of. I guarantee you that if they were to start instituting capital punishment against pedophiles, you watch how quickly these cowards would stop. Or they would try to go underground, but it's already underground. And it's got to be exposed. Anyway, all right, I'm going to change subjects in a little bit. Well, right now, not in a little bit. I'm going to do it right now because they just had this election up in Canada, and there are a lot of people that are saying, wait a second, yeah, this is screwed up. You know, there's a lot of questions about the validity of the vote, the ballot boxes that were shipped around, and well, Carney got in there, but a lot of Canadians are saying, okay, go ahead, we'll give you enough rope, go ahead and hang yourself. But here's a Canadian woman. I've seen a few of her posts here. Give a listen to what she had to say.
So Canada failed another IQ test. Not surprising considering how 2020 went. Either that or they screwed with the election. Both things are very plausible. I mean, we've seen them screwing with the election and all of the ballots and everything for quite some time now. And then you also kind of have to see the bigger picture that most Canadians are asleep NPCs. You know, they love the nanny state. They love being bent over and told what to do by the government. So guess what, Alberta? It's time to separate, and Smith is making it way easier for us to separate. I will show the video later, and I will also link the signatures where you can sign up to have Alberta separate from the rest of Canada, because right now it's a toxic marriage, right? You've got Alberta, the one that's working hard, the one with the money, and then you've got these lazy gold diggers out east who basically just, call us names, call us down. They think they can live without oil and gas. They think they can live with fairy farts and unicorn dreams. But so let them, you know what I mean? Let them stew in their own UN globalist bullshit that they just voted in. But what I'm really surprised about is Saskatchewan and how you guys voted. Let me just show you that. So let's look at the election results. You've got Liberal, NDP, which is pretty much Liberal, and then you've got the majority Conservative here in the West, and then Saskatchewan. What happened here, buds? What is this? I mean, Manitoba, I understand. They've always been a welfare state, but Saskatchewan, you guys don't want to come with us? Anyways, I think Alberta, BC, and this southern part of Saskatchewan and Manitoba, you guys should join us over here. Same with these guys. Come on over to Alberta, and we'll just separate from that toxic relationship that is called Ottawa. So for whatever reason, this video sound doesn't want to play. But basically, Alberta is slashing the referendum threshold. Only 177,000 signatures are now needed for an independent vote. I'm going to put the link in all of my comments below so you guys can go sign, because I think enough is enough. So I say screw it. Screw the East. I mean, if they want to milk us for money, let's cut off that pipeline for money. If they don't want to build more pipelines and they want to stop Alberta from production because they want to reach net zero, let them reach net zero on their own. Alberta needs to go independent or join the 51st state. And to be honest, whatever Donald Trump just pulled, the Liberals completely fell for it. I mean, they fall easily for propaganda. We kind of saw that in 2021. But the fact that right after the election, Danielle Smith is making it easier for Alberta to separate is honestly the best thing that could have happened in this election. So let's go Alberta, man. Because honestly, we align more with the Americans than we do with Ottawa anyway. I'm down here in the States, and Americans are one of the friendliest, most welcoming people that I've ever met. And not that fake, polite, welcoming things that the NPC crab in the bucket people in Canada do, but truly welcoming, and they want us to succeed. However, the rest of Canada doesn't want the West to succeed, so we must secede from the east of Canada.
Interesting. So it looks like Albertans are pretty excited about the prospect of becoming the 51st state. Now, I don't know how that's going to work out, but she did bring up the issue of net zero, and I think more and more people are starting to realize that this whole carbon footprint thing, this is a scam. It's been a scam from day one. And excuse me, like I said, the whole climate change thing is just exploding. This whole the exposure of the climate change hoax is exploding. And now there's no doubt that we have pollution in this country, in the world. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get rid of pollution, but in order to do that, we have to change our infrastructure. And you can't rip down, all of the oil industry and the gas industry and all, the coal industry, et cetera, unless we've got something in place to replace it. And this is where the issue about 0 point energy comes in. And again, let me see. There's the U.S. Air Force general. I'll play this clip. About 2 weeks ago, his name was Stephen Quast, and he is a U.S. Air Force general making the statement about this new technology that's about to come out. But we've got to tool up. We got to go, 100% forward with releasing the alternative energies. Here he is.
Energy, the seed corn of all development, all growth, all survival, energy. So energy, transportation, information, and manufacturing, these are the things that change humanity, that will change world power, and they are descending upon us in ways that are very unique. The technology is on the engineering benches today, but most Americans and most in Congress have not had time to really look deeply at what's going on here. But I've had the benefit of 33 years of studying and becoming friends with these engineers and these scientists. This technology can be built today with technology that is not developmental to deliver any human being from any place on planet Earth to any other place in less than an hour.
Oh.
To deliver Wi-Fi from space, where you never need a cell tower to connect. To deliver energy from space, where you never have to plug your phone in, and it trickle charges, and you can use that energy over time. It can be applied to cars, to houses. The technology of Edison and Tesla that we live with in our energy environment, our paradigm today, is expensive, it's dangerous, and it's wasteful. Plug it into the wall. But yet that's what we all do because we are used to paradigms. The power of space will change world power forever. And it doesn't have to be a big country to do it. It can be a small island country, let's say New Zealand. Because the technology, if optimized, can change world power. And there's nothing you can do if you don't have that power. The nature of power. You either have it and your values rule, or you do not have it and you must submit. We see that play out again and again in history, and it's playing out now.
Yeah, that's right. It's playing out now. And so I would suggest to all of you folks out there who are screaming about global warming and climate change, et cetera, and you're out there protesting against big oil and big gas and big coal and nuclear and all that, I suggest you redirect your efforts and demand the release of this hidden technology. Now, there's a documentary that Dr. Stephen Greer did, and it's called The Lost Century. I would suggest that you look for that and watch that documentary because he was discussing all of the technologies that have been suppressed for over a century. We all know about Tesla and him pulling electricity out of the atmosphere, out of the ether, and we all know about his pushing for frequency. He said frequency is everything. And the technology is there. It's just been suppressed. So if we want to pull this civilization out of the fire, because we're going down quick, we have to release the technology, and we have to get rid of all the bad actors. Anyway, that said, my gosh, this hour has gone by. I have so many more audio clips I wanted to share with you, and that's why I'm here with the audio receipts. I don't come out and say, hey, I said this, I said that. I'll let you hear it directly from the horse's mouth. But anyway, that said, boy, we're coming up on the end of the broadcast. Thursday already. Oh, my gosh. Time goes by quickly when you're having a good time. Anyway, that said, how are we going to pull this out of the fire, folks? Well, I'll tell you how. It's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to me. It's going to be up to everybody to roll up their sleeves, get involved, quit burying your head in the sand, face the monster head on, stare him in the eyes, stare him down. It's the only thing we could do. And above all, you need to pray. We need to tap into the vital source, into the light. And because light always overcomes the darkness. All right, that said, that's going to wrap it up for today's Thursday broadcast. God bless you all. Please stay safe. And above all, stay free. And we'll see you tomorrow.